What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. So unfortunately, I just finished the workout, and the reason I'm doing this after because I lost the cord to my mic. It turns out I was looking for it for the first like 10 minutes. I was like, where to go? And I found it at the end of the workout. So I got it now. So I'll run through the workout real quick. I just finished it. It was a unbelievably good lower body session. I really like the structure of it. Played around with some new movements, some new stuff I'm trying to do, but I'll do a voiceover for this lift since I didn't have the mic on, and I'll kind of explain the reasoning behind a lot of stuff, because really like this session, something you could implement and try out in your own training, some unique stuff, and again, you can adjust the sets and reps as needed, but you know, you're hitting your quads, your hamstrings. It's really good, kind of like, it's more of a strength focus, power focus. You know, we're starting off with cleans. We have a heavy top set of squats, but then also get to use some machines to get some good hypertrophy work in and just go into failure. So great leg day. I'm bummed I didn't have the mic throughout the lift, but we'll get into a little voiceover, and the legs are feeling freaking good. So let's rip.
Oh yeah, voiceover time. So starting off with some mobility, this is gonna be my new go-to warm-up routine. So these are called hip flips, just 90-90s. Keep the hands on the ground, going side to side. I'll go 8 on each side. I'll lean into it, and I'll go straight into these heel clicks. These are super nice. You just keep one foot down. You think about bringing your knee off the ground, touching your heel to heel. 8 and 8, you'll get your hips loose as a freaking goose on those. And I'll go straight into these. These are just hamstring squats into rotations. Really think about pushing to the opposite knee, open up my T-spine, and then we're gonna go into some TKEs, 20 to the right, 20 to the left, and then we're gonna finish with some lateral walks, 20 to the right, 20 to the left. I'll roll through that full thing 2 times. Takes about 10 minutes. It gets me feeling so freaking good for the lift. Highly recommend trying it out. And if you're ever looking for any mobility, just look up Vernon Griffith on YouTube or Instagram. That's where I got all those like hip drills from, and they've been game changers. So got that warm up done. Then we got into the main power work. Started with some block power cleans. So I've been liking these, going that mid shin height. Worked up to 295 for a 3x2. Obviously, my biggest struggle, my clean, is my catch. And I think it's just due to my lats being so tight. But also, I think it might be because I've never really had super bad trouble with it. And then over the last couple of months, it's getting worse and worse, even though I'm front racking as much as I ever have. But I think it's because my lats are growing, boys. I know I talk, and if you've been following, I've been really emphasizing my lats in all my back training. I've been hammering them twice a week over the last couple months. And I think there might be some growth, and you know, that might be why the front rack mobility is trash. Or at least that's what I'm gonna tell myself. But 3 sets of 2 there, really working on being powerful. And then for my squats, what I'm doing on this second day of the week, work up to a top set of squats. 500 has been the number. I just throw a random number on there and I just try to AMRAP it. So 500, I hit this for 6 the week before. I said I want 7 here. Unfortunately, I only got 6, but it was a grinder of a 6. I was a little woozy after the set, but what I've been doing on these squat days, day 1 of the week, I'll hit my regular 3 sets of back squats, top set, 2 back offsets, and then on the second day, I want a barbell squat twice a week because I'm really trying to emphasize that. But I also love pendulum squats and hack squats, and I love doing that. So I'm thinking, okay, why don't we get 1 set of back squats in, but we're gonna get 3 total sets of squatting in. So right after this set, I went straight into the pendulum and did 2 working sets there, and I did a little closer. My feet were a little more narrow, so it was a little more quad focused, and my quads are absolutely brutalized. Obviously, the good thing with this, when I finish that back set squat, it's not like I have to warm up again. Like, I know I can hit 6 plates on here, so I just threw 6 plates on there and kind of ripped it because obviously I'm super warmed up from it. But those were 3 really, really hard sets of squats. And I kind of like this idea, the psychological reasoning behind it. So when you do heavy, heavy back squats and deadlifts and bench, I mean, it plays a role on you. You get psyched out. And sometimes when you go in, you're like, damn, I got to do 3 or 4 really heavy sets of back squats. You kind of lose a little bit of intent because it just takes so much out of you. So I like the idea of like, all right, we just got 1 set of back squats. Go ham, go balls to wall, go like you're about to pass out like I did, and you're done with it. But you're not really done with it because you have to get 2 more sets of squats. But changing that variation and going from a barbell squat to a pendulum squat, although it's the same movement pattern, it sucks just as much. That small little change kind of like re-amps the engine. It's like, all right, let's go hard again for 2 more sets. Let me know if that makes sense, because in my head, it really, really helps me out. You know, from a psychological standpoint, it's like I feel like I'm getting 1 extra rep on that top set of back squats, which might not seem like a lot, but it definitely adds up in the long run, especially when I'm doing these AMRAP sets. And again, something I'm experimenting with, but I've really, really liked this. So again, 2 sets on the pendulum after in that 6 to 10 range. So we got 500 for 6 on back squat, 2 sets here. Again, the first day of the week, I'm hitting my 3 heavy sets. Second day, I want to get a back squat stimulus in. I love the idea of hitting an AMRAP set. And honestly, I'm just going in. I've been doing 500 the last couple of weeks, which is about 87%. But usually I just throw a random number in my head. I get really psyched up and I'm like, let's gonna rip that. We're gonna get as many reps as we can. So, hey, try it out if you get psyched up for squats or if you just want to change things up because it's kind of been fun. After that, punish the quads a little more because they weren't brutalized enough. These Smith machine Bulgarians have been one of my favorites. Single leg movements all the time. I love Bulgarian split squats. Well, I don't love them. I hate them, but I love how they maximize my leg growth. 3 of my favorite variations I've done, just a double dumbbells in each hand. But you get to a point where like, I have to use like 150s plus, and the amount of times I've like tweaked my back, like trying to pick them up because I'm not really thinking about it and I go down and pick them up a lot of times. So then I do a lot of hand supported, like Hatfield Bulgarian split squats, which I absolutely love. But the thing about those, you got to load those suckers heavy. Smith machine. I feel like Smith machine's a perfect balance. You don't have to worry about the bar stabilization and you can load it heavy and get a deep range of motion. So what I'm looking for in Bulgarian, super deep range of motion. You see me elevating my front foot so I can get nice and deep into it. Something I can load freaking heavy, like on that, and something I just go ham on. So 2 sets, 6 to 10 here. Fellas, this is one of the funniest things ever. I talk to myself so much. Look at this. This is a 33-second clip of me in between sets. I'm talking to myself right here. The mic's not on. I'm just having a very friendly conversation. I don't know what I'm talking with myself about, but I get animated, man. My family makes fun of me all the time for this because I'll be sitting in a chair and I forget and I zone out and I start talking to myself. I'm just thinking out loud, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not crazy, I promise you. I mean, I'm a little psycho. I'm a little psycho D, but I thought that was kind of funny, so I kept that in. But anyways, we get 2 sets of hamstrings here. So pretty much got all the quad working. We got 3 heavy sets of squats, 2 heavy sets of Bulgarians, all sets 0 reps of reserve, 5 hard-ass sets. And then I'm like, let's get our hamstring working. So I did 2 heavy sets of seated hamstring curl. I really like this one because the stack is super heavy. I could only get like 7 reps each set. Usually I max out the machine, I get like 12. But that was a heavy stack, so I'm stoked with that. And then these snatch grip hypers. This hammer strength hyper where it's nice and high, I absolutely love because I get a full range of motion. But the snatch grip is super nice because, again, you kind of increase the range of motion and you get a little upper back trying to hold that. Did 2 sets there as well to blast the hamstrings. And then to finish the legs off, went back to the quads with some quad extensions, just 2 sets here. So full leg day there, cleans for the power work. We get our main squat work in, a heavy top set of back, 2 pendulum, a Smith machine Bulgarians for more quad volume, a knee-dominant hamstring movement with a seated hamstring curl, hip-dominant hamstring movement with a snatch grip, 45-degree hypers, and then just finishing with a nasty freaking quad pump. And in between sets, just talking to ourselves because we're freaking psycho. Appreciate you guys.
All right, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Sorry that the mic didn't work today, but we'll get that figured out for the next session. But anyways, good leg day. Definitely give that a shot. I really like the structure there. I think sometimes with trading, like, as I mentioned, like trying out different stuff, like I never would have thought about doing, all right, let's get 3 sets of squats, but let's do a heavy back squat and then get our 2 sets on the pendulum. And like the mental reasoning behind that makes a lot of sense because if I just know I have 1 set of squats, I'm gonna go balls to wall. Not that I wouldn't do that in 3 sets, but like when you have 3 sets, it's a little more daunting. You're like, and I feel like I definitely get an extra rep because of that. And then guess what? I'm still getting my 3 sets in. I'm just changing the squat variation. And by changing that small little change, it's kind of like a mental trick and I get 2 more hard sets. So I'm a big fan of like, not like, obviously you want to follow a rigid routine, but I do like variety within it. So like, I like the idea of like, all right, maybe your lower body session, you hit a power movement, like an Olympic lift, you hit a squat variation, you hit a hinge variation, you hit a leg press variation, you hit a hamstring curl. You can plug and play, that squat variation one day could be a back squat, it could be a pendulum squat, a hack squat, a Zercher squat. That hinge variation could be a deadlift, it could be an RDL, it could be a stiff-legged deadlift, it could be a dumbbell RDL, it could be a back extension. Leg press variation could be a single leg press, it could be a Bulgarian split squat, it could be a lunge, and that hamstring curl could be a variety of different ones. So I kind of like the structure of plug and playing, especially if you feel like sometimes like your training's getting stale and you're losing intent. That little subtle change of changing things up and like keeping it the same structure but changing subtle things, like maybe typically you do like a hack squat and you've been progressing on the hack squat and you are suddenly plateaued, maybe you change it to a pendulum squat. You're still getting that squat variation, but it's that subtle little change, although it sucks just as much and it's just as mentally exhausting, like changing some small variables can kind of like freshen things up, and that's just a good thing with training. So like, you don't want your training to get stale. I think a big part of why I love training is because I like it so much. It's just fun, and I play around with different stuff, and I'm a big fan of adjusting things when needed and not letting them get stale, because if you enjoy your training, you're going to get more intent out of it, you're going to keep showing up, and you're going to have a good session. So appreciate you guys watching. Sorry about the mic. See you guys in the next one. Second days. Peace.